Texas Rangers second baseman Rougned Odor still hasn't been told how long he'll be suspended for, so while we wait, put up your dukes. First of all, let's get something clear. That is not a sucker punch. Both men are squared up, both are making a fist, but Rougned Odor simply throws his first and lands the most devastating punch in baseball history. Directly on Jose Bautista's jaw, nearly knocked his beard off. Baseball fights are usually uneventful, but not always. 10 years ago, nearly to the day, Michael Barrett slugged A.J. Przinsky in the face. That was a sucker punch. Nolan Ryan connected with so many right hooks in a short period of time that Robin Ventura was nicknamed Speedbag after their 1993 brawl. A pair of all-star third basemen, George Brett and Greg Nettles, each landed a few punches in the 1997 playoffs. Champ Summers ran completely across the field to get his hands on Pascual Perez in 1984, but Bob Horner got in the way and then the fans got involved. Summers never found Perez. The most dangerous incident by far was in 1965 when Juan Marichal hit Johnny Roseborough with a bat. They later became best friends. I love happy endings. The Rockies might have the fewest skirmishes of any major league team, although Charlie Hayes charged Ramon Martinez just a few months into the 1993 inaugural season. Rocks were kind of feisty in 2000. Brian Hunter went after Scott Sullivan in July. That was a bad idea. And just a month later, Andres Galarraga, then with the Braves, chased down Colorado pitcher John Wasden. Yorvit Torrealba and Matt Kemp had a pretty good tussle in 2008, but that's about it. You see, the Rockies don't fight because they don't really have any rivals, and their games are rarely significant in the standings. All those other brawls, including this weekend's Rangers-Blue Jays rumble, involved playoff teams battling for championships. Sounds crazy, but we'll probably know the Rockies are relevant again when they start fighting more often. Sometimes nothing tastes more like a pennant race than a knuckle sandwich. Long before Odor Bautista, there was Soicher Clark. This is why that punch looks so familiar. Kyle and I had a similar incident during the 10 o'clock news exactly 3 years ago tonight, May 16, 2013. Happy third anniversary, Kyle.
You know, Kathy and I look so disturbed about that. Did you see our
They were like, what are they doing?
You can swing back if you want in honor of the occasion.
I'll take my opportunity when it presents itself.
If it's bothering you that the Broncos don't seem to be desperately and aggressively trying to find a star quarterback, relax. Anybody can do it. For the first time in pro football history, a team will be considered one of the favorites to win the Super Bowl, regardless of who their starting quarterback is. Usually, that's the #1 factor in determining which clubs even have a chance. The Broncos' defense is so dominant that the retirement of Peyton Manning and the sudden departure of Brock Osweiler won't even matter. As long as those incredible pass rushers, Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware, and those spectacular shutdown cornerbacks, Chris Harris and Aqib Talib, stay healthy, Denver should easily win its 6th consecutive AFC West Division title and earn one of the top seeds in the playoffs. Oh, sure, it'd be nice to have Tom Brady, Cam Newton, Ben Roethlisberger, Russell Wilson, or Andrew Luck in an orange jersey, but that's really not necessary. Didn't we just learn? The defense is so good, it doesn't matter who's at quarterback. Mark Sanchez? Sure, why not? In fact, I bet Trevor Siemian, who has only taken one career NFL regular season snap, would win. Or one of the quarterbacks with even less experience available in the draft. Michigan State's Connor Cook, Stanford's Kevin Hogan, Mississippi State's Dak Prescott. Doesn't matter, doesn't matter, doesn't matter. Heck, the Broncos would be contenders if their head coach named himself the QB, and probably guarantee themselves back-to-back championships if their general manager made a comeback. I absolutely love the idea of Colin Kaepernick playing for the Broncos. His remarkable skill set would be a perfect fit for Kubiak's offensive scheme. Cap's exciting, fun, and just enough trouble to keep things interesting. But if the Bronx are unable to acquire Kaepernick through a trade or free agency, they'll be just fine, because anybody can do it. Except maybe Johnny Manziel. He'd probably screw it up.
Here's Drew Soicher.
Hi, everybody, and come on. Tom Brady shouldn't have been suspended for cheating. If anything, Brady ought to be punished for such a weak attempt at breaking the rules. 4 games for that? Deflating a few footballs? Really? How soft have we gotten? Remember back in the day when cheaters were creative, original, imaginative? Rosie Ruiz, now that's a cheater. She won the 1980 Boston Marathon after taking the subway to a stop about a mile from the finish line. Unfair advantage. Tanya Harding hired a dude to whack Nancy Kerrigan in the leg just before the 1994 U.S. Figure Skating Championships. Serious cheating. Antonio Margarita got busted with plaster of Paris inside his boxing gloves just before a 2009 fight with Shane Mosley. Damn, that's cement. New York Giants stealing signs to help Bobby Thompson hit the shot heard round the world and win the 1951 National League pennant? That's baseball. Stop whining. Remember Danny Almonte, the grown man who pitched in the 2001 Little League World Series? That's just stupid, too obvious. Everybody could smell Danny's Old Spice aftershave lotion. The Colorado Buffaloes scored on 5th down to beat Missouri in the 1990 National Championship season. Not CU's fault the refs can't count. Hey, I have no way to prove this, but I bet every quarterback in the NFL has tampered with a football at some point. The air pressure, the laces, the texture, something to make it feel more comfortable in their hands. Every one of them. Yes, including your favorite. And maybe even that guy before him, too. I've never seen it, have never been told about it, just seems logical. And harmless. You know, like sliding your submarine over a couple of notches on the grid midway through a game of Battleship. Or switching your right foot off green and left hand off yellow late in a Twister death match. Tell me you've never done that. I guess Tom Brady had to be punished because he got caught. But let's not disrespect the word and call him a cheater. That wouldn't be fair. I believe John Elway when he says Missouri star Michael Sam's announcement that he's gay will have no effect on how the Broncos see him as a football player. Elway sent 9 News a statement today, reading in part, "As we look toward the combine and draft, we will evaluate Michael just like any other draft prospect on the basis of his ability, character, and NFL potential." And by the way, can somebody please explain to me how this is a news story?
Number 52, Michael Sam.
Who cares? Seriously, how is Michael Sam's sexual orientation anybody else's business? Sam is an outstanding pass rusher who just shared the Southeast Conference Defensive Player of the Year award, and we're supposed to give a damn if he's more attracted to men than women? Who cares? NFL locker rooms have been occupied by drunk drivers, rapists, dog killers, and murderers. That didn't seem to be a problem. But a homosexual teammate? Hurry up and call the police. Most great athletes are extremely comfortable with their identity. Sam just went on national TV and announced his.
Came to tell the world that I'm an openly proud gay man.
I want that dude on my team. Oh, sure, there'll be some uneducated homophobic moron who will say something offensive, either to or about Sam, but again, nothing groundbreaking. Would you be shocked to learn that racist, sexist, anti-Semitic folks have occasionally been assigned NFL lockers also? And besides, do you really believe that this is something new in professional football? Washington Redskins Ring of Famer Jerry Smith was gay, and all of his teammates knew it. In 1965. Why is this news? Are we comparing Sam to Jackie Robinson? Please don't say yes. Michael Sam is gay, and I'm finished talking about it. Even if the Broncos draft him, which I hope they do. Who cares? All right, so ever since we aired a clip of my son Peyton signing to play baseball at California State University, Monterey Bay, I've received dozens of letters from parents asking me how I did it. What's my secret to raising a scholarship athlete? Please, you're giving me way too much credit. This kid was cursed with his father's size and athletic ability. So what's he doing signing a national letter of intent? The answer is much simpler than you may think.
1, 2,
Love. There weren't any personal trainers, private lessons, or high-tech equipment, just love. He did all the rest. Focus, work ethic, dedication, sacrifice, commitment, academic excellence, all Peyton. Me? Love for the game, love for each other.
Because I'll be the best.
Who's going to be the best?
But I'm not telling anybody.
Yeah, that's our secret, right? Honestly, all I did was sign the boy up for baseball every year, volunteer to coach a silly team named the Mighty Bobbleheads, and enjoy, respect, encourage, share, embrace, inspire, support, celebrate, all the things you do for love. Oh, sure, along the way you sneak in a lesson or two about leadership
I say bobble, you say heads. Bobble, heads, bobble, heads, bobble, heads.
and giving back to the community. We're big on that. But basically, all I really had to do was show up. Usually with a camera. I like taking pictures in home movies, but that's not really necessary. Point is, you gotta be there. Kids like it when their parents are in the crowd. I realize there must be other ways to help your children chase their dreams, but none that I'm familiar with. My advice? Love them and get out of the way. You might just be surprised. You might just find yourself shouting to others, "That's my boy!" Or, in this unexpected case, thinking to yourself, "That's my boy?" Wish I could be more helpful, maybe provide some formula or parental checklist to pass along, but perhaps all this will save you some time and money. Try love. Worked for us. Hey, if Broncos head coach Gary Kubiak calls later tonight and asks you to pick the starting quarterback, what are you going to tell him? I'm thinking that really might happen. And so I've prepared a simple two-word answer. Gimme Manning. Brock Osweiler did a wonderful job filling in for the past month and a half. That's terrific. Gimme Manning. Osweiler played well enough to convince the Broncos coaching staff and management team that he's the quarterback of the future. Magnificent. Gimme Manning. Osweiler has already won an AFC Player of the Week award and was featured on the cover of Sports Illustrated magazine. Neato. Gimme Manning. I know. I'm the same guy who just a few weeks ago insisted the Broncos should sit Manning until the playoffs and then unleash the NFL's all-time leading passer, fresh, rested, and angry. But you know what? It is the playoffs right now. If the Broncos don't win these last two games, they might miss the postseason altogether. Gimme Manning now. You see, this may be the end of Peyton's remarkable career. We might not get another chance to watch a future Hall of Fame QB play for the Broncos again in our lifetimes. Don't you want to see how it ends? Aren't you the least bit curious? Gimme Manning. Do you really want that 4-interception, 0.0 quarterback rating performance against the Chiefs to be your lasting memory of number 18? Do you really think he's capable of playing that poorly again? Don't answer that. Listen, the Broncos aren't going to win the Super Bowl this season with the Brocky Mountain and that lousy offensive line anyway. Peyton will return with an attitude. He's furious about recent reports that made him sound like a bad teammate, and I bet he's tired of pretending his foot hurts. There's only one way the Broncos will even have an outside chance of winning a title this season, and that's if you gimme Manning. It hasn't even been 24 hours since the Rockies traded Troy Tulowitzki, and I already miss him desperately. I miss that chant, that fabulous stadium-rattling Tulo chant, leaving no question who the fan favorite was. I miss those jump throws, running to his right, throwing to his left, just in time to get the runner at first base.
He got him.
Tulowitzki learned the jump throw from watching his idol, Derek Jeter, as a kid, and then took it to the next level. I miss Troy's creativity, spinning the wrong direction if necessary to make the right play. I miss his index finger, pointing to the Rockies bench after game-changing hits to pull his teammates into the fun. If Tulo had a point to make, you knew it. I miss the tape measure home runs, a shortstop with the power to hit the ball nearly 500 feet. I miss Tulo's flair for the dramatic. He's got both an unassisted triple play and a cycle on his resume, one of only 2 players in baseball history who can say that. I miss the hot streaks. When Tulo caught fire, like the time he belted 14 homers in 15 games, oh man, was he fun to watch. I miss the haircuts, the mullet, the mohawk, the stripes. Tulo's barber just lost his best customer. I miss the way he spit into that magical baseball glove and then worked his saliva into the ratty old leather to soften it up. I miss that smile. His grin was contagious, and when he was happy, so were we. I already miss everything about Troy Tulowitzki. Except all those injuries, that sure was annoying. And the eye black stickers, real grease looked so much cooler. And the arguments with the umpires, such childish temper tantrums. And most of all, I won't miss the angry bat tosses. Nothing is worse than when Tulo slams his stick on the ground like a spoiled little leaguer. That's dangerous, and certainly won't play in Canada, where everybody is extremely polite. With those few exceptions, I already miss Tulo. Rocky slugger Todd Helton had his attorney email a statement to the media today saying he's embarrassed by his DUI arrest. I think he ought to be embarrassed by that weak statement also. Not only was Helton arrested in the middle of the night on suspicion of driving under the influence of alcohol and careless driving, a mistake which could have killed him or worse yet, you. But instead of publicly apologizing, Todd released a typed communication which began with an excuse of sorts, explaining he was simply driving to a gas station near his house, as if to say nobody could have possibly gotten hurt on my quick 2:30 a.m. run to Conoco. Yes, we could have. That's when I knew Helton didn't write the message himself. The Todd Helton I know and get along with very well never makes excuses or tries to justify an error. In fact, he's harder on himself than any athlete I've ever known. I'm not listening to or accepting any apology from the greatest baseball player our town's ever known unless I can see his lips moving and hear his voice. Todd is my favorite Rocky. We've enjoyed a very friendly relationship over the years, but I cannot cut him a break on this one. He blew it big time. Broncos play the Oakland Raiders on Sunday, which I'm hoping, or should I say praying, marks the official end to Tebowing season. There is nothing funny about Tebowing. This growing phenomenon of people kneeling in prayer pose like Tim Tebow does is rude, disrespectful behavior. Tebow is a deeply religious, polite, thoughtful, mature, and well-mannered young man who deserves to be admired, not mocked. Say whatever you want about his level of competency as an NFL quarterback, but disparagement aimed at Tebow's character is disgraceful. I know, Timmy says he doesn't mind, even called it a blessing, but come on, he's just too nice to fight back. Trust me, Tebow thinks Tebowing is stupid and insulting. Nobody likes to be treated with ridicule or contempt, and that's exactly what's happening. Worst example of Tebowing was Detroit Lions defensive lineman Stephen Tulloch taunting Tebow after a sack on Sunday. Tulloch should have been penalized and deserves to be fined. I know what you're thinking. Soicher has a problem with teasing somebody? What a hypocrite. He does that more than anyone. True, to a point. Sure, I like to poke fun and even take an occasional cheap shot, but never, ever about religion. That's completely inexcusable. Tebow is entitled to believe in and pray to whatever higher power he wishes. He never forces religion on anybody, unless you consider his simple God bless at the end of interviews offensive.
All right, thank y'all. God bless. All right, God bless y'all.
I think it's refreshing. In a day and age when so many athletes are in so much trouble for criminal behavior, we're gonna clown him? Please. There are thousands of much more worthy targets of ridicule than the Broncos quarterback. You want to mimic Tim Tebow? Great idea. Stop posing like him. Oh my God, this is moving. And start living like him. There, I feel better. Avalanche superstar Joe Sakic will officially announce his retirement tomorrow. If Joe bids farewell anything like he plays hockey, he'll be humble, clutch, and mostly super. He has so many remarkable statistics that his numbers have numbers. 20 seasons with the same franchise, first in Quebec, then Colorado. 1,378 games, 625 goals, 1,016 assists, 1,641 points, 13 All-Star games, 2 Most Valuable Player awards,
Congratulations to Joe Sakic.
2 Stanley Cups,
Joe Sakic, he raises it over his head.
1 fight.
Super Joe just scored a goal, and then he beat up Doug Gilmore. How do you like them apples, Gilmore?
But don't be fooled by all the digits. Joe Sakic meant so much more to the Avalanche than just a bunch of stats. The ultimate captain, Sakic wore that C on his sweater with so much pride you'd think he sewed it on himself. Joey was the most loyal and considerate teammate ever. Remember when he immediately handed the cup to Raymond Bourque? That was cool. In the community, nobody better. Sakic frequently visits patients at the Children's Hospital, runs an annual charity golf tournament for Food Bank of the Rockies, and volunteers at countless other fundraisers that we never even hear about. A devoted husband and father, Joe always included his family whenever an opportunity presented itself. And when's the last time you heard about him getting in trouble? Let me help. Never. Joe Sakic was our Wayne Gretzky, our Mario Lemieux, our Steve Yzerman. Sakic never seemed very comfortable with his nickname, but when you add up a super player, super leader, super citizen, and super career, you get Super Joe. All right, so I understand you're a little bummed out that Carmelo Anthony intends on rejecting the Nuggets contract extension offer, plans on forcing a trade, and put his house up for sale. That bothers me too. But let me help you through this. Is it really the end of the world? Is it time to panic and run down the street naked with your hair on fire? Yes, absolutely. Get hysterical. Now. The Nuggets were garbage the day before Carmelo arrived. They will be garbage the day after he departs. In between were 7 consecutive, exciting, interesting, fun, thrilling,
Carmelo for the win!
maddening playoff seasons.
Anthony, he'll take the 3 there. Yes!
Obviously, everybody know I'm loyal, to the Denver community, to the Denver Nuggets. I've shown that over my 7-year stint here, so I don't think nobody can question that. But at this point in time, I got to do what's best for me and my family.
Averaging nearly 25 points per game during his career, Anthony established himself as the greatest player in franchise history. Yes, better than Alex English, better than Dan Issel, better than David Thompson. Especially when he started playing defense and stopped getting into trouble a couple of years ago. Of course, the Nuggets would receive a good young player or two, maybe a draft pick, in exchange for Melo in a trade, but that would only signal the beginning of another rebuilding project. All-star guard Chauncey Billups will retire shortly thereafter, so will head coach George Karl. Nothing's official yet, but it's becoming obvious.
Melo in the 3. Yes!
I'm a Denver Nugget, man. I'm here, I'm with the Nuggets. I don't become a free agent until next year.
Great pass to Melo and he threw it on.
If they're smart, the Nugs will make a deal quickly rather than let Anthony's lame duck status hang over the team all season and risk getting nothing in return. Don't misunderstand, Melo doesn't hate Denver. In fact, I think he likes it here. But he wants and probably needs a bigger stage and city to accommodate his sizable ego. We were lucky he played here this long.
And Carmelo hits it!
Panic? Mm-hmm. Boy, that was depressing. Yeah. Maybe this will make us feel better. This is my Melo in a Box toy that I received for my birthday a couple years ago. Yeah, you spin this little handle here on the side. Plays the national anthem for some reason.
We only have a few seconds.
Oh,
here,
come on,
Drew.
Melo. Oh, there he is. That's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
Nope, didn't make us feel better. Hey, get off my back already. Everyone keeps asking me when I'm going to apologize to the Broncos and Peyton Manning. Apologize for what?
Drew Soicher.
Hi, everybody. No way. I do believe the Broncos will aggressively pursue Peyton Manning. I do believe he'll listen out of respect to John Elway. But no way. I was wrong for thinking Peyton Manning wouldn't even consider the Denver Broncos, much less play for them. I went on the air and said, no way. Forget about it. zero chance Peyton Manning comes to the Broncos.
Why?
Why'd you make me look so bad?
I don't know. Tell me why you said that.
I just thought with the whole Tebow thing, your style of play and the way this team was built recently, there were so many other teams that were closer to winning Super Bowls, and you're all about winning Super Bowls. I just thought there were so many other teams you would consider, and I did not think the Broncos would have been as aggressive as they were. I was wrong for underestimating John Elway's competitiveness, and for assuming John Fox wouldn't be flexible with his run-first offense. I was wrong for failing to recognize that despite 13 years since their last Super Bowl, the Broncos are still considered one of the NFL's elite franchises. Wrong for this, wrong for that, wrong, wrong, wrong. Did you think no way also, or did you leave it that wide open?
I was wide open.
Now, I know I'm right about one thing. Manning gives the Broncos a much better chance to win the Super Bowl than Tim Tebow ever would. However, that's not the point. This isn't about me being right, but rather wrong. And in this rare instance, I was wrong. My wife wants me to record that little I was wrong segment, use it on her phone as my ringtone.
Dee wants her own I'm wrong.
Can I purchase that ringtone?
Yeah.